Good evening and welcome to the Lovers Connection. I am Candy Luck, aka Candy Love.
Okay.
I'd like to introduce the rest of our panel.
Good evening, my name is Lava Girl, aka Volcano. Welcome to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, good evening. I am Mystery Man.
Hello, my name is Lady Style, aka the Style Vixen.
Wonderful.
Good evening again and welcome to our show. This is just going to be an open forum this evening as we talk about the Las Vegas massacre and the tragedies that are happening in our country today. And we'd like you to just kind of engage with us and share with us your thoughts, your concerns, and if you'd like, we'd love for you to call in to our number of 561-531-6092. We would love to hear from you regarding your heart, your concerns, and anything else that you would like to share with the panel as well as our country.
Our first question for tonight is, why does it take a tragedy such as this to bring unity to our nation? Andre, would you like to go first in stressing your feelings on that?
Well, you know what? That's a very good question, and you know, it's really unfortunate, you know, for something like this to happen in our country. First of all, you know, my heart goes out to all the families out there because you know, this didn't just affect, you know, the 500 people who were injured and the 59 up to date who have passed away, but thinking about it, there's whole families affected. There's children who are, you know, going to be fatherless and motherless, and you have communities that are going to be suffering. A brother, you know, was lost, a sister was lost, an uncle, you know, an aunt, and you can, you know, go down the line. So this has obviously affected a lot of different people, but really, it is unfortunate, you know, when things like this happen. You know, we tend to have, you know, this form of unity, if that's what you want to call it, that takes place where everybody, you know, comes together, and you know, you have hearts coming together and talking about this tragedy. But why isn't the love and why isn't the conversation really something that is ongoing, something that, you know, is rather more part of our everyday conversation and culture to better our community, to better ourselves?
What a wonderful statement to make, Andre, concerning unity. You know, unity is all about oneness. Everybody just loving on each other, opening up to each other, and showing respect and admiration for each other at all times. And our media, you know, always seems to, I think, over-exaggerate a lot when things like this happen, and they like to make accusations sometimes that aren't very caring to the facts of what's going on out there. But unity is something that we need to learn through the love of Christ. And if we don't have that unity through the love of Christ, it's hard for us to show unity to each other. I'd like Lady Salish to give her insight on what unity should be here in our nation, not just when tragedy happens, but every day. How can we come together and show more love for each other?
Well, I'm going to agree with the Mystery Man on the fact that unity should be something that's ongoing. Unfortunately, we keep seeing these tragedies that occur, and the nation is only unified for a short period of time. And then as soon as it's no longer in the news, it appears not to be in everybody's mind to think about unity as something that you should do on a continuous basis. And I feel that the unity is not there as much as it should be, because these things are occurring too much, almost on a regular basis. I hate to say that. And then people are now becoming somewhat used to it, so therefore they're somewhat numb sometimes when a situation happens like this. So I again agree with Mystery Man and with Lava Girl that unity should be something that happens on a continuous time, all the time, not just when something happens. But it's unfortunate that that just seems to just be for the short period of time.
Absolutely. Lady, give your insight on unity.
Unity is really just about God's love for all of us, and what He wants for all of us. And there was a quote on Facebook today that I wanted to share. If you don't love all people, the world is never going to see Jesus through you. So,
That's powerful.
so yeah, it's very powerful. You know, it's you know, we need to be giving thanks every day. We need to basically just take each day as it is, as it was our last breath, our last moment, our last time, by showing our love for others, no matter of the circumstance, no matter where you are in your life, because it was proven fact again what happened in Las Vegas, that tomorrow is never promised. And
I understand that all these things very nice, and I'm very sorry for everyone who lost their loved one. Do you think now it's time for Congress to get together and pass a law to prevent certain people not to have this kind of weapon?
Absolutely. We need to unify. Yes, we do need Congress to step up in this matter. But as the media was saying, last night I was watching CNN, and they were talking specifically about this subject, how many tragedies and massacre, murdering is going to take for Congress to step up and do something about this. We had the Columbine incident, we had the movie theater incident, we had the AME Church incident in Carolinas.
Orlando as well.
And Orlando, that's right,
That
Andre.
was a major one.
That was the major one. Actually, that was the largest unfortunate incident until today, until yesterday, when this gentleman decided to go out and have a rampage of killings against innocent people. But the question is, would Congress do anything about it? I don't think this will do anything either. If losing 21 first graders wasn't enough for them to step forward back in 2009. We're talking almost another 8 years ago. And they still have not gotten gun control laws in place to stop people. I mean, come on, this guy had 42 weapons. 42 weapons was in his possession that somehow he owned or bought or purchased through entities that sell guns. I mean, a simple law could be in place that you're only allowed to buy two. What do you think about that? That is just an overkill for one person, one citizen to have so many rifles or so many powered machine guns. that can do such damage as he did on yesterday. We don't know the reason. We may never find out the reason, but we as a nation need to do something about this because it just is going to continue to happen. I mean, it seems to be a pattern now in the United States with gun violence and, you know, just people taking advantage of authority and control, you know, wanting to control certain situations. So I think that Congress definitely has to, at this point, do something. We just had a congressman shot at a baseball game. Same type of guy, you know, I don't know what his name is, I don't remember, but he went to a baseball game practice where the Republicans and the Democrats were practicing for a game, and started shooting.
Yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
And even this does not wake them up. This man almost lost his life. Miss Gifford got shot close range
in the head.
in the head. She almost died. We have 2 of them that has been saved from gunshot violence in our Congress. And they're still not doing anything.
I'm not trying to interrupt you.
No, go right ahead.
Girl,
Go ahead.
But I don't think there's ever going to be any change because
Yeah.
of the right to bear arms and the NRA and they stand with their constitutional right to bear
I
arms.
understand.
And although you think Congress should act, a lot of them are being lobbied with these gun right individuals, and unfortunately it's about money backing them politically.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think that they're gonna come out and say, well, I really wanna do this, but I really can't because, you know, a lot of my money is coming from these lobbyists.
Absolutely.
And you see, you have all these lobbyists that are up on Capitol Hill, you know, lobbying for more and more gun rights. So I just think we're in this vicious cycle until, you know, somebody really stands up to the NRA.
And who's that somebody going to be if it's not Congress? Do you guys have any suggestions? Callers, or if you're out there listening, we would like to hear your opinion about this particular question and what can be done about our gun control issue at number 561-531-6092. That's 561-531-6092. We would love to get your input on the situation that's going on right now here in the United States with this massacre issue.
And something else I want to bring up is that there's a comment on CNN today that states that President Trump, they asked him about the gun control issue, and he said he will address it at some point perhaps, but that is not today.
There you go.
So,
So this should be the best time to address it during something like this. Now you want to wait until afterwards.
right. Well, I think he has other priorities, like really meeting with the victims of the Las Vegas shooting, and supporting between Puerto Rico and Las Vegas. I think that's kind of his priority right now. But at least he answered the question and said at some point perhaps that will come, but not today. So when that today is not today, but when will it come, I don't know.
I totally disagree.
Yeah.
Trump, unfortunately, he has no empathy for anyone, and really, he's not really addressing Puerto Rico. I mean, he was there handing out paper towels, but he was tossing them like baseball, cards or something into the audience.
Wow.
And then at I guess it was a news conference, he's saying, well, Puerto Rico, you just sent our budget out of whack. So I don't think he's in connection with anyone. And irregardless of what the situation is going to be, he's not going to address it appropriately.
I definitely agree with you on that, Lady Stylist. Our president has to get in tune with the nation and what's going on, and that we're people, and we're people that have to be united by a leader. The leader is who leads. He is the leader. He's the commander-in-chief. of this great nation, and if he can't lead, then we need to get someone in there that can.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, I said we need a leader. Leadership starts with someone that would step up for the nation, for people, for rights, and lead. And if we don't have that, we need to get someone else in there that will stand up for our rights and for leadership here in the United States of America.
Well, you know what? Going back to this issue of gun control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let us try to maybe just try to look at it from their perspective. You know, you have this country which is almost divided equally, to be honest with you. You have Americans who actually believe, you know what? It's my right to own a gun.
Mm-hmm. True.
It's my Second Amendment right.
Correct.
And I want to protect my family. You have a lot of people coming from that perspective. They have the perspective, you know what? If I want to go hunting, if I want to protect my family, you know what?
Yeah, but Andre, wait a minute. That's something, we get that, we understand that. Hunting is
Yes.
great, but we don't want people hunting down people. We don't,
Yes.
that is just unacceptable behavior.
Yes, I agree with
So,
you 100%.
Looking at it from whose perspective? Congress or as citizens? Who are you speaking about?
I'm coming from the citizen's perspective. Basically,
Okay,
you
we
have...
do have a right to defend ourselves.
Yes,
But with rules and regulations that would restrict things from getting out of control.
yes, I hear you on that. But my question is this. You have a large number of Americans who consider themselves law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
They're not out there shooting anybody. We're not doing absolutely nothing wrong at all. Matter of fact, this is what they say. They say these people, who we may call crazy, psychopaths, or whatever you may want to term them, they make up probably less than, I think it's something like 1% of the people who are irresponsible with guns, who are doing what they're doing. So according to them, what they're saying is 99% of us gun owners are responsible. Why do we have to pay for the psycho in Vegas, the one who went, you know, to the Senators game, or who did it to the congressman lady? That is where a lot of people are coming from. I'm not so much saying that, you know, I'm picking sides across the aisle, but you have a lot of people who are passionate from the perspective that I'm mentioning right now. And how do you appease them, and how do you guys respond to them?
Listen, Andre, this one gentleman, his name is Stephen Paddock, had 42 weapons that he had in his possession and owned. What is your reasoning for that? I mean, we can simply just have laws in place that say you're only able to buy
There's so many
a
weapons.
total
Absolutely.
of 2 to 5 weapons, based on handguns and maybe a handgun and a couple of rifles.
But I
42?
Right, I agree with you, Lady Love, and that, but the issue too is not just the number of guns, it's the type of gun.
Exactly.
So he had these
Type of
semi-automatic weapons that he was going off so many rounds, I mean, just rapid fire. And why does someone need a semi-automatic gun for personal use? That would be something you need for the police, the army, you know, something like that.
SWAT.
Right. I'm not understanding why we have to have semi-automatic guns for personal use.
Okay, what are they doing about the illegal guns that get into this country? That's where it starts. And on our streets. How are they getting here? What are they doing about restricting that? Donald Trump's worrying about a wall to stop Mexicans from coming over the United States? Come on. Let's do better than that. He needs to start trying to figure out how we can keep our citizens safe right here in our own country. We have a massacre going on in the streets.
And it's stating on CNN also that this guy has accumulated over 20, he's accumulated all these weapons over the last 20 years. So, what weapons? How many weapons?
It's so many loopholes though in the law, because there will be certain laws in place, but there's a way to, go around loopholes. They have gun
Right.
shows,
Yes.
and they can access guns through, gun shows legally. So, I mean, legally, there's loopholes, and like Lady Lava said, there's illegal ways that guns are coming in. So we're basically getting it from all sides.
Yes, exactly.
And now they're also saying that because of these tragic situations and things that are happening in our country, is that more people are going to want to buy guns because they want to protect themselves and their families, just like you were
Absolutely.
saying earlier.
Well, that's
So, I mean,
and there's nothing wrong
there's
with that.
nothing wrong with that. But
No.
again, where does it
But
end? Where does
doing it the
stop?
right way,
Doing it the right way.
doing it through legal ramifications.
Absolutely.
Which this gentleman did do, apparently. He nothing that he purchased was illegal, I guess, based on what they're saying. He had the right to have these guns, but
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there
42
should be
weapons?
some monitoring
yeah,
method in place
Yeah,
for,
that's what I'm saying.
how many guns you own legally, because there's no way we're gonna know how many guns someone owns illegally.
Right.
I mean, it's like the same thing. You own a car, you have titles to your car. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a gun owner. I went through the process of purchasing a gun
And
right at the gun show.
See?
I showed my license.
Mm-hmm.
They ran my license.
Mm-hmm.
They did the little credit, their check, the background check.
Background check.
Sorry. And then, this was all after I picked out the piece that I wanted.
Correct.
Well, I had to pick the gun up at a registered,
Gun shop.
a registered, gun shop where they had to register the gun to me and put it in the system. So I didn't take the gun home with me that day from the gun show. I had to go to that, they have authorized dealers around the city that if you buy a gun, they can send it to that particular dealer, and then you pick it up from there. But they didn't explain the process or anything to me,
Okay.
I had to ask questions
Yes.
and understand what the procedure was.
You
But
know
you
what?
do sign papers there
Listen,
saying
this
you're
is-
purchasing the gun.
This is an absolutely great point you're making right now,
Mm-hmm.
and you are walking into a question, I think, that really concerns a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you, responsible citizen.
Yeah.
You did things the right way.
Mhm.
You got that gun. Obviously, a
Mhm.
lot of those guys are doing the same exact thing as well.
Yeah.
Now, here's the question. I mean, even I myself, as a social worker, really wonder about this too. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and having worked with people with mental illness,
Right.
having been a
Absolutely.
mental health counselor, a lot of people will tell you we don't have a gun issue for the simple fact that, you know what, it's not the guns that is the issue, because these people went through the proper channels.
Yeah.
But what
Right.
the issue is rather what we're not addressing as a country. And for me personally, as a mental health counselor, I take issue with that. Given the fact that, you know what, a lot of people with mental health issues,
Mhm.
a lot of people who have given us the signs, a lot of people who, these people have families, they
Right.
have friends.
Yeah.
At one time or another, they may have seen a counselor. So these people get, slipped through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
You get people who want to buy guns and are getting guns. And you know what? They don't go through any in-depth assessment at all. Like you just mentioned right now.
Yeah.
Show me your license.
Fill
A
out the
few
form.
questions. I'll see you later. Peace out. So do we have, these people who are committing these acts, you can look at their past very easily. Psychopath, antisocial. Some of them have had mental health diagnoses.
This gentleman had
Schizophrenic.
no record of anything recorded.
Nothing. Absolutely.
In terms
nothing.
of crimes, no. But
Medically either. They had
Medically, yeah.
nothing showing. That's
Yeah.
why they're very puzzled. This guy didn't even have any social media following. He never even went on social media to do anything. So he definitely seems to be an introvert kind of person.
yes.
But my point is, this guy had no record of being mentally challenged or,
Yes,
or
which is
psycho.
fine,
So,
which is fine. But he does have family. He does have friends. somebody have seen the bizarre behavior. Somebody have seen
He's a gambler. He's a gambler,
the
Andre.
antisocial
Yeah,
issues
he
he
has
has.
addiction.
He's just a gambler.
Yeah.
He's an addictive gambler that gambling away hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know.
Hello, Lovers Connection.
Good evening. Welcome to DTR Radio. Welcome.
Hello, am I calling into the show?
Yes, ma'am. You are live.
Oh, this is Sharon.
Welcome.
Am I calling on the wrong number?
Yes, ma'am. You are on the air. Please. You're on the air. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Uh,
Somebody's speaking, so I don't want to interfere.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. What would you like to share with us? The issue is about the mass massacre going on that happened. What's your opinion? Do you think it's time for Congress to take the gun issue, come up with a plan to fix the problem about the gun issue?
I think we have a bigger problem than guns, in my opinion. I think we have a society that has a lot of mental health issues. And I
Absolutely.
don't think until we help people with mental health problems that the guns are going to make a difference one way or another, because our society is very sick. And I believe that they're needing help. They're needing help. They need prayer. They need help. And I think it's filled with people that have mental health issues. And we're just, the society's just getting sicker and sicker, and that's what I see the bigger problem is.
So, the questions we need to find out, do you believe that, for example, myself, if I decide, do you think it's right? For example, if I have a mental health problem, or let's say, for example, I'm clean just like guy. I'm not in the military. Do you think it's right for me to own this kind of military weapons?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So, what do you mean absolutely not? I am a U.S. citizen. I have the right to own a gun. I have the right to buy anything that I want. Who are the government? Who are you to tell me I don't have the right to, if I want to buy a machine gun? Can you tell me?
It's simply for the protection of the people and the protection of that person. You're protecting the community, our communities. It's not, I don't even do I see it as a health issue that our country needs to get a grip on. Because without dealing with mental health issues, people are going to continue this. It's going to happen. A very good friend that has, this person's not getting, what's to say that person isn't going to go on. You're listening to all this stuff on TV. Sometimes it's glorified. I don't know what to say except that I really see it.
That's a very good point.
Thank you for your point.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, good evening. Welcome to DTR Radio.
I'd like to topic of gun control.
Yes. Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right for a U.S. citizen, for Congress, or as a matter of fact, for the politician to say that to limit someone from buying any weapon that they want?
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. I don't know if limiting weapons is the right answer. I think stricter control on the type of weapons that are, because what we know is that the cities that have the toughest gun control or where guns are banned have the most violent crime.
Okay. So, Andre,
People have the right to bear arms, but I think that the government needs to have tougher control on background checks, on waiting periods, and I think that there needs to be better communication with all the groups of cities and states, with our police officers. But I think banning guns never seems to work because those communities where guns and things of that nature are banned have the high crime and murder rate. So I think that if you give them, you can give them, but it has to be controlled in a better way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
do you guys have any question for this gentleman? By the way, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sarasota, Florida on the West Coast.
Wow. And also, can you at least have your friends have everybody let them know what this show about and invite them to participate? We would like to know what they feel about what happened, and also, do you think that is really what would you like to see happen right now with the lawmen?
With the laws?
With the laws regarding gun control right now, because right now the country seems to be divided. You have a large numbers of people who believe, you know what, we have our Second Amendment rights, and we have the right to bear arms. And then you have people who believe, there shouldn't be guns out there, or it should be limited. Where are you at with this argument?
Yeah, well, if ours are being limited, I think in the whole reason that we have the Constitution and the policy. But I think as the country and as the world evolves, the dependent laws. And I think the laws have to be governed fairly, no matter which race or which ethnic group or which religion you are. I think it has to be fair for everyone. And I think the protection of our citizens, I just don't think, though, that if a bad person wants to obtain a firearm, he's going to make sure he's going to get a firearm anywhere that they can find.
Sure.
So I think, sometimes we punish the good people along with the two bad apples, and I'd like to believe that there are many more good people in this world are ready and willing to do the right thing than there are bad. I think the country is divided. I think that there's a lot of people that want tougher gun control and a lot of people that want to be able to have more weapons. And I think that there has to be to preserve life for everyone.
Thank you for calling.
I think that when people are murdered like this mass devastation with Las Vegas, with the old firearms and killing many innocent people, I think that is something that needs to be controlled. But where this will go to with stricter gun laws is they will start talking about, the government will start talking about, when people check at hotels, because this guy brought in a mass amount of firearms into the hotel. So I think that's why people that stick up to the right to their arms get upset because they know that the government will go to control more things than just firearms. It leads into other things. And I think that when I check into the hotel, I want to have to check my baggage and when I'm walking through the airport.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Keep talking.
Anything else you'd like to add regarding this tragedy that happened? Anything you'd like to say to the families and the victims and anybody else in our country?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm deeply saddened that we're in a place where people cannot go to a gathering or a festival of have joyous times listening to music or an event or a show, and that now, I was just talking to a friend of mine, what happens when this happens over and over, and these kind of things take place, is we need to be deeper persistence into finding out the reasons why, instead of everybody wanting to put political affiliation or religious affiliation or an ethnic background. I think a lot of things have to do with medicine, and what no one ever talks about what medicine or antidepressants or things of that nature was this gentleman on. And those types of things play a big part of it, instead of just what's on surface level. And I think that it's sad that now that you have to think twice about just going to some event that people look forward to going to and wondering, will something happen to themselves or their loved ones, or if you have children, it will be a safe world. And I think that's it.
Thank you so much for calling. What is your name, caller? Tell us your name again, caller.
Yes,
Okay.
DJ.
DJ, thank you so much for sharing. Please
First
call
of all,
again
you might
on another
not
call or
please
future call, I
listen.
should say.
All I need
And feel free to be a part of our
to get
show at any time.
to
We appreciate it. Thank you.
level
Thank you.
10.
Thank you, and
I
may all
put
you
the
have a
level
good
10
evening
down,
and
so
a safe
I bring it
night.
So they should take
God
us.
You too.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
DJ.
They should take us on the
That was great that a caller called in.
You might
I
not
can
listen.
see that there's a
Okay,
trend
on the
going
board.
with mental health
The channel,
and saying that
9/10
these
is the
mental
one that
health
goes
address
down to the
needs
ground.
to be
So
addressed.
that's we bring. I should have brought
I think
the
that
radio
brings
in
us
there.
full circle to another issue, which has to do with healthcare.
Mhm.
And even though
Mhm.
these people
Yeah,
need
but-
mental health, perhaps
Go
they
check.
don't have
Go check to
access
see if you
to
can hear.
medical care to get the help that they need. So we're coming full circle back to this healthcare issue. So one
That's a
hand
good
washes
point.
the other.
Good point, Lady Style. That's a great point, Lady Style. I don't know if we want to quite dive into that, but it kind of hits it home
Right.
because, like you said, it's really full circle.
Right.
I did have something I wanted to kind of come back to, and I'm just putting it out there because maybe it's something I'm not understanding, but something that I'm seeing as I've listened to the news and we've seen all these events over the last couple of years, and just
It's 960.
the craziness of it and the guns, and we look at this guy here and how he had 40-some weapons, 42 Lava Girl, and he, they say he's been like collecting guns over 20 years. Well, it's there are gun places that are already being criticized and harassed, and they're afraid for their lives, and I don't really know that we can really blame them, because if he's come in and purchased one gun, and he's gone through the registration, he's gone through the background, he's done everything. They, as an organization, have done everything they can do, as long as they can prove, all the legalities and all the things that they had to take into place. My question is that, again, it goes back to what type of weapons do we allow, but my question is, how do we track, how do we know, and I don't know, and maybe that's a system error, that I went to one gun shop one month, and the next month I went to another gun shop, the next month I'm in another state and I went to another gun shop. I don't know how, I really don't understand how all that works, but I think that could be another issue that we're having here, because that could show, I'm sure there might be some out there that have done,
Apparently the systems that they have in place
Don't talk to each
to
other.
record
And I think that's what
the
DJ was saying.
purchases of these
Yeah.
guns,
They don't talk.
they're not showing up. They're not all connected.
They're not connecting,
They're
and that's
not
what DJ
connected.
was saying, right? Yes.
They're not connected.
Yeah.
This is the problem. This is a sad situation and
We
a
need some type
big,
of
big loophole.
Federal
like our first
registry,
caller said,
like
it's
some
not
type
about-
of federal registry or something.
Yeah,
They can
sounds
keep
good.
up with us through the system of cyber world out there and what we all doing. Come on, they can keep up with the gun purchases if they want to. They can connect that to the world if they really wanted to.
Yeah,
That's something that they don't
we
care
need
to do because that would be one way to restrict. So they're blocking that or ignoring that fact and saying, well, like Lady Luck say, they can go from state to state and travel around and buy weapons. And that gun shop owner wouldn't know that he just purchased one in New York and now he's in
Correct.
Jersey buying another one.
Correct.
So that is a hole that we need to correct.
Absolutely. There's definitely a loophole. There has to be some serious accountability. Just like some of our callers said, it's a mental health issue more than a gun control, because no matter, these people are sick, there's something going on with them, and they are going to do whatever they're going to do what they're going to do, whether it's with a gun or whether it's with a knife or whether it's with a bomb or whatever the case might be.
Right.
They're going to make it happen. I mean, that's proven. It's been, people have been saying that. So
We even have guns in the hands of children that have done mass shootings.
Correct.
Columbine. We have mass shootings done by kids. They talked about the fact that just this month alone in Chicago, there were 32 shootings and 4 deaths on the streets in Chicago from gun violence. They're not checking to see what's going on with the guns and the rights of our fellow citizens with getting guns in people's hands. They're not checking.
Again, we're just coming right back to the same issue, we have the legal guns and we have the illegal guns. And usually the guns that are
37,
illegal
6,
were
5,
legal at one time, whether or not they were stolen from someone,
37, 6, 5,
Had to be
that is,
registered somewhere.
yeah, right. So we're still coming back, I believe, back down to the NRA.
That's absolutely.
One thing that I wanna not more so reiterate, but I really wanna highlight it. The fact that there's when you wanna talk about accountability, we have to be willing to look at all the sides.
absolutely.
And for me personally, I would prefer that we look at it equally and give it equal attention. The NRA, I agree, 100%. That's true. Okay. Now,
It has to start with somewhere. It has to start with leadership somewhere.
as citizens within our communities, within our, country, I believe we have to do our part too. Now, these people, they're around us every single day. They give us signs. We see that young man or that, young lady who may be very, very much troubled, who may need help.
Good evening, good evening, welcome to DTR Radio.
Hello, good evening. How are you guys doing?
We
Hey,
are
how
well,
are
we're
you?
well, thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, I want to comment on that shooting. I want to know, I kind of agree. I don't know why our government is allowing weapons and stuff. It doesn't make any sense that they could just let them come up with weapons. And I'm surprised that this guy was at a hotel. I'm surprised that nobody saw him like with a gun and nobody said anything. I mean, I don't understand.
What is it you don't understand? Why the government is allowing it? Is that your
Or how we got into the
statement?
How we got
hotel?
into the hotel.
How we got into the hotel?
Oh,
Right, I don't understand like how exactly. I don't know how nobody saw him take it into the hotel, or I just don't understand. He was just must have carried his luggage or something. I mean, I'm just surprised nobody noticed anything or said anything, or I'm just surprised that government even allows these people to even carry these, they even have these guns.
Well, in regards to the hotel and him having, they said up to date, it's what, 47 weapons now from the
Yeah,
42?
we just got a new
They just
report.
stirred.
Yeah,
So
third
it's
location.
actually 47 that he had
in 3
in there.
locations.
One thing about Nevada, well, I mean, really, it's every state has their own type of gun laws or legislations, whatever. Nevada is one of the most lax states, from what I've heard. They are very lenient. They don't have as many gun laws as other states. Now, with that hotel, how he was able to get the weapons in there, a lot of what they're saying is these rifles, you can actually break them down and put them in suitcases. So maybe he went in there, you know, he kept going in, you know, at different intervals, different times, and he would just come in there with suitcases. Now, why would security or why would you stop somebody coming in with a suitcase? Very unlikely. If it's a normal senior citizen guy, 64 years old, he's checking in legally. He has the money.
Right.
Obviously he has every right to do what he is doing. So he actually took advantage of that. And he was able to get in there with his weapons.
I could see that,
Can
but
you listen
I'm the
to
type of person where I don't, yes, I know that in this country we have the right to bear arms, but I don't think citizens should be allowed to have ends of, you know, their army units. I think, you know, just a small handgun, I think that's all we should be allowed to have in this country. We don't need, I don't think the purpose of having the army, you know, these big, you know, unless they purposely want to cause destruction. I just don't, you know, as a citizen, I just don't see the point of everybody having these guns. And I wonder why the NRA, you know, isn't doing anything about it. Somebody needs to talk to, you know, somebody needs to, that's higher than the NRA, needs to make them understand. And I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. This is, you know, the whole thing is ridiculous. I don't know what, I wish I had an answer. I wish I knew what we could do to fight the problem. I just don't see it getting any better. It just seems to get worse and worse and worse. I mean, think about it. I don't really, there was a shooting about, I don't know, a few years ago, in a movie theater, and you know, and then it doesn't seem to do any good because it keeps happening over and over and over and over. I mean, isn't anybody but to the NRA about this? Isn't there somebody that's about the NRA that could talk to the sense or pass some kind of gun laws? I mean, there's got to be something we can do as citizens to stop all this.
Yeah, so we totally understand and where you're coming from. Again, I mean, this is going to be up to Congress, and according to President Trump's remarks today, he said, plain and simple, not today. So this is not on his agenda today.
Wait, well, not today, when? When?
I know, I don't know when, but I'm just saying, he just said not today, so when is it going to happen? I don't know. You know, maybe it's going to take the nation to come together, that something has to be done about this issue.
Yeah.
And again, just some of our other callers said, collectively.
To tell you the truth, I think he's all wrapped up on his own stuff. I don't think he's really concerned about that. He's worried about like all the other, you know, he's worried about too much other unimportant stuff. He's worried about coming here, you know, remember he's coming here every weekend. You're just gonna Mar-a-Lago for what? It's like he's got other stuff to worry about. But I don't think Trump is really doing anything about the problem if you only know the truth.
So, Carla, what are you saying? You saying our president is a baller? That's all he cares about?
Golfing.
Golfing and having a good time on the weekends?
I remember he was coming here every weekend.
Or tweet. He must have tweeted today, not today.
And I remember that he was, kind of trafficking on the beach. Trump cares about Trump. That's it. He's not even qualified to be president, but
Yes.
that's another topic.
Yes. No.
So,
Look,
but getting back to gun issue, I just don't know. We got to get on a place. Somebody needs to go to Congress, or maybe we can go above Congress. There's got to be something we can do about the NRA to stop all this, to have some kind of like real strict to tough laws. Something's got to be done.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what it is, and I hope there's somebody out there that has an answer, because
No,
it boggles in my mind that this keeps happening all the time, over and over and over and over again. It's like it's like a cycle, and I don't know what we can do.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
That's a good
right.
point.
We
That's a
thank
very
you.
good point.
Thank
Thank you
for
for
your
your call.
There's-
We
Appreciate
it.
Thank you for your
absolutely
call.
understand your point of view, and we look forward to hearing from you again on another.
What do you think we can do about it? Do you guys have any suggestions? I mean, I don't know.
Suggestions as to what we can do about it? I mean, sure, there's a whole lot we can do about it. You know, you can write to your congressman or congresswoman.
Absolutely.
We can get out and vote. Obviously, this country is in the state where it's at right now. A lot of people chose to stay home and did not vote in the primary. So we got what we deserved. So this is a democracy. So, you know, if people are willing to organize, they're willing to come out, you know, they are willing to do their part as citizens. You know, this country is where it's at, you know, because our true power comes from the people. Us organizing, you know, us as a community coming together. So yeah, there's definitely a lot we can do.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Well, that's true. Well, what about everybody who's listening? Let's come together and let's go to our Congress. Let's put it into the law.
Again,
That's a
it's-
great
it's-
suggestion. It's
I
easier
agree.
said than done, but that's a great suggestion.
And
Caller.
again, it's
That's true.
getting, it's taking and making that we're getting all the organizations, so we're just not pinpointing one organization, that we're taking all organizations, as Mystery Man said earlier, and really holding them accountable and being a part of it instead of a one-sided thing. It has to be united throughout every organization, from mental health to healthcare to, you know, every angle that the issue is from the issue that comes from this issue.
Who's above the NRA? There's got to be somebody above the NRA.
Unfortunately, they're very powerful.
Yeah, the NRA has a lot of people behind them, a lot of money, a lot of strong lobbyists who are supporting them, and our president, you know, is likely very much a big supporter. So
You know, it's unfortunate,
Mhm.
caller, that cash is king in our world today,
Yes.
and
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
what rules.
True.
That's what rules. It's a sad thing to recognize,
Mhm.
because people's lives definitely are worth more.
Right.
Our rights are worth more, but the people that we are voting for and putting in place in the different states and the different levels of Congress and legislation, we are the ones that have to get them out. If they're not supporting what it is we want for change,
Right.
then we have to vote them out and
exactly.
stand together in unity to do so.
Mhm.
And that's where the ball is being dropped a lot, because the country is so divided, with all different cultures and opinions and religion, and I mean, it's just such a divided country. The only hope for us is for us to get back to the things of God.
That's true.
That is my final statement on what we can do.
But yeah, it is a divided country, and I like what you said earlier, about, you know, Trump was, it's just building a wall to Mexico. Well, that's not gonna solve our problems, with gun violence.
That's correct.
You know, that's ridiculous.
Well, listen, thank you so much for calling into U.S. Discovery Talent Radio tonight. We really appreciate that. You have a blessed night, and we look forward to hearing you again. Thank you.
You take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, callers, for listening. We have any other callers out there that would like to call in tonight, please do so. We are excited and anxious to hear your opinions on what you thought about this devastating situation in Vegas, what our government needs to do about it, what we need to do about it as citizens. The number is 561-531-6092. We're going to go to a short break, and we will be right back momentarily to take your calls concerning this topic tonight, the U.S. versus the massacre of Las Vegas. We need to solve this issue. Thank you. We have to shut down.
We need to do, if it's 2 hours, we have to do 1 an hour. Is it next
So you think that is really
That's why I'm being a devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Stop it with that. Some feathers.
You guys are still up on Facebook. It's fine. You can have your conversation naturally.
Okay.
I think we just,
I think
if no one else calls in, I think we should take it to, kind of like just, kind of recognizing those that lost loved ones, to really asking for our nation to, that we must unite together. It's like Lava Girl said, there's some things over here, you know, like I read this yesterday, and there's so many different stories, you know, the things that came together, and bringing it back to the very beginning of, does it take a tragedy to unite people together, you know, but I don't even know how to say this anymore, because it's so much, but this one said a stolen truck to bring victims to safety. I mean,
Honestly,
this guy held this guy, his friend died in his arms. I mean, it's just, the Bible doesn't
It's
care about the
stories
gun.
after stories
It's story after stories. It's just,
It's tragic. People
it's
experiencing
just,
it. I couldn't imagine people fighting.
yeah, I mean, you hear all those stories. It's just,
Everyone went out to have a good time in one established place and turned out to be devastating.
and what I see on here still is that we want to make sure that if you're looking for a missing or loved one, they have to call this number, and we kind of say that, as well as, and again, we are one nation under God.
How can we bring that back
How can we
to
bring that back to
what our
country?
forefathers started
So,
many
you guys can help us say peace
And if you want to go back even further,
yeah.
what the Bible
But the Bible says, and I was going to say,
started back
and-
in Jesus, God day,
Right.
as how we're supposed to live as one,
and I
as one
wanna-
another.
Yeah. And I was going to just kind of read this
Love
up
your
here.
neighbors as you love yourself.
Bring back the Ten Commandments.
so Miss Atia, what do you think about what Lava Girl said? As a Christians, do you think that at this moment, what do you think that based on our faith, what do you think, what it will take for the nation to get back together, the healing?
Get to start a healing process.
Yeah.
I think it's just more complex than we believe it is. It's more complicated. I think because so much of out of everything.
Right, absolutely.
And, you know, so much religion has been taken out of so much, and what we view and what we see is, you know, a lot of things don't have morals in them, or, you know, there's not prayer in school. You're not allowed to do certain, you know, certain things. You know, I just think a lot of people are not spiritually connected. So if you were referring them, back to, you know, what, you know, God and different things, they're not spiritually connected, so they have no idea.
I think the world is just so mad. Everybody seems to be so mad in the world today.
Do you think they have a reason to be angry?
Yeah, absolutely. The way things are being lived around them, I think everybody seems to be so mad and very distorted and bitter in their lives today. And they have reason to be, because we don't know what each and every person is living daily.
Do you believe that? Do you have any idea what caused the half of the nation is so divided and is angry?
Just most everyone just being and living in darkness of not knowing what life is about and how to live life in a way that would be
what do you mean?
To them, pleasing
what
to
do you
them.
mean? I mean, the people live in darkness. What do you mean by that?
They're living in the darkness of sin, destruction, and not being able to see what it is that God has us here for.
But
just
now,
to love.
No, I feel like
another.
you're preaching. I feel like you're preaching that. Let's get back to the
world,
real life.
Listen, I think this world needs some of this. They need to learn love, and the only way we can learn love is to love Christ,
Okay.
and to give our hearts over to Him.
And
we have so many Americans today professing to be Christians, but this world is destroying. It's just falling down around us in destruction.
Some people might say that, okay, you're talking about love. God so loved the whole world. Why He allowed for this this madness take place?
Because He gave us a choice, first of all. We have to choose and be accountable for our actions and the way we live our lives.
So,
He gave us that choice.
So when you say that God gave us that choice, we made the choice by taking the Bible, the prayer out of school, prayer of our establishment. You try to say that this is the reverse of the matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can even go back as far as what our forefathers wanted for our nation. They had everything structured around the Bible and biblical philosophy of how we should be living and treating one another.
Absolutely.
And that has fallen by the wayside because, like you said, they have taken it out of schools. They have taken it, you can't talk it on the job. You have to be so secretive about being loved, showing love, talking about love. The only love people want to talk about today is fleshly love. That's not going to get you anywhere.
What's wrong with that?
We need that in our life, but it comes with order. I'm not saying we
What's
don't need
the
that.
What's wrong having? No. What's wrong having?
The order is unity with one, man and woman.
Man and woman.
Men and women.
That's it.
Wait a minute. Something's. Let's get that. I heard that you say men and women. What about partners with partners? They believe that. No. They believe that. This is what's going on. They believe that it's okay for women to get married to a woman, and men to get married to a man.
That's how separated our world has come today, and how divided we are in our thoughts, and what human dignity and respect is.
Isn't that the Bible? Our forefathers also saying that.
Jump in, you know.
I mean, isn't that true? Listen, isn't that true? Our forefathers spoke about that. Love supposed to be between a man and a woman.
No, our forefathers didn't talk about that. Our God and Savior Jesus Christ
Oh, okay.
talked about that.
So
he set
if
the rules of that from the foundation of this world.
The foundation of marriage is between a man and a
It's
woman.
a sacred thing that we should honor.
So
Man and woman.
I'm glad you mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned
Sacred
something like that. What about like two women that live together as partners? They decide to adopt children. Do you think it's right?
What do you think about that, Jody?
That's a very touchy subject. You know, you have a lot of people who feel, you know, this day and age, you know, you have the right to self-determine and live your life how you want to live it. A lot of people think, who are you to tell me how to live my life?
Right.
Maybe the next person believes, you know, in, you know, atheism, or maybe the next person does not believe in your Christ or in your God.
Right.
So you have so many different, you know, perspectives and beliefs that people are coming from, you know, these days, you know, but
That's what we're talking about.
all we can do is basically talk about, you know, who we are, who we believe God is, who we believe Christ is to us,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
we share it with the world.
Absolutely.
Choices. It comes
Those
back
choices,
down to the
those
choice
choices.
again of what we believe
And
and
just
how
as
we're
you
going to
said,
live
God
our
so loved the
lives.
world.
Right. Choices, like Lava Girl said, so many things that we're seeing on television are, I believe that the immoral has become the moral or the norm. And, you know, it's so many things that you see and you're like, you know, they're trying to make, you know, certain things normal, you know, making wrong right, almost, like they're flipping everything.
Yeah.
So in other words, what you're trying to say, what we used to call immoral now become moral.
Correct.
So it's just like everything become like normal,
Routine.
routine.
Accept it.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's a better word.
Accept it.
Do you believe that, I mean, the first thing, do we believe that we get to a point of no return? We cross, there's no return?
As long as we have breath in our bodies and we have a chance to change our
I
lives.
cannot hear you, ma'am.
I say, I don't think we're at a point of no return. I think as long as we have breath in our bodies and we have another day to give thanks to our Heavenly Father, we can make change.
But I mean, all of us
If we
might want
chose
to
to.
make a change.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you, what will it take for that change to take place?
Some surrendered hearts.
Yeah.
Some, some surrendered hearts.
Some
And
repentance.
yeah, go ahead, Jody.
It starts with Christ. You
Yeah,
know,
it starts with Christ.
It starts with Christ. You got to get to that point where you decide, am I going to surrender my life? You got to get, to that point. For a lot of people, they reach that crossroads. They're going to have to decide, am I going to keep going this way, or am I going to change my life and take a different route?
Okay.
And I think too, this massacre is going to show, even though we said, why does it always take something so devastating to bring people and unite people together? But
Wait
our
a minute.
prayer.
Wait a minute. I have something to say. You say, why does it take this to bring people together in unity? But what I see each and every time something like this happens is, once again, a routine.
Right,
It's a routine that we go back to. Oh, let's get together in unity. Let's light candles. Let's go to church. Let's pray for our nation. But
It's
are
just
we
a
walking
kumbaya
through?
moment.
Yes, absolutely. Are we really, really meaning this? Is it coming from the hearts of our people? Do we really have any compassion and love left for people in this world today and our situations that
So
we live?
it seems like good, loving people. Do you think that we have short-term memory? When things happen, we all say yes, like
Thank you. Yeah.
like the lady
Yes, right.
Starry said, "Kumbaya."
Yes, and it changes next week. It'll be another headline story. And the Vegas killings would be forgotten. Next week, it will be forgotten.
So, what do you think it will take? It will take to get things moving.
You know what? It's actually really sad. You see everything going on within our country, within the world, to be honest with you. And it's not, some of these problems are not that difficult to me, to be honest with you. Even though they come from so many different angles and there's so many different layers to it. When you have enough love and you have enough compassion, that can solve absolutely everything. Love is an action word.
When you have the love of Christ.
Exactly, when you have the love of Christ.
Yes.
Love is an action word. When you see your neighbor suffering or when you see certain issues going on, do we see money and power? Do we see, people see my perspective. They're thinking of self-preservation. They're thinking about, what can I get out of this? But if we had a world where you had a Congress, you had a government that was more focused on love. You have an administration running this country that was more thinking about love makes you go from a place of thinking about self to putting others first.
Okay.
So,
You just
again, it
see-
goes back to leadership.
No, see, that was what I was saying. You just touched something there. You take like an administration who care enough, who have love enough. Do you think that during the election, we have one party, one person who many times he incite violence? Do you think is a result of what happened during the election? When you have, what do you think?
Regarding the election?
Do you think all the rage that was taking place during the election, do you think it's a leftover remedy that's causing that?
You had the election. You had a large part of people who did not feel heard, who did not feel like nobody cared about them. And you had a candidate who really, stirred that base up.
Who tapped on that energy.
Yes, he was able to tap into it. He was able to make a lot of people feel heard. And he was able to make them feel like, you know what, you
matter.
You matter.
You matter.
Yes, very much
so. Because it showed them that I heard your voice and I feel your pain.
Exactly.
Even though he never felt anybody's pain. But if I feel your pain, I want you to know that you matter. I'm coming to shake things. I'm coming. But he never, he tapped into like a source of energy. But right now it looks like he's losing control of it.
Yeah. Because it wasn't real. Because it wasn't real. From the beginning.
What do you mean? It felt so real to many people, and today they still feel it very real to them. Because imagine, do you know why it's feel like?
Dream like any other politician do.
Do you know how it's feel like?
Empty promises.
No. I disagree. Hold on. I disagree.
Okay.
Because during the election, the man told everyone what he's going to do. Where his true feeling was. He told us what's going on.
Yes.
He told us what he's going to do. Do you know how it feels like when you've been ignored for so many years and now you find someone to tell you that, guess what? You matter to me. I'm going to make a change. I'm tired with these people.
Those words weren't any new words from a politician, any other politician that's been running for any position or a presidency for that matter.
But you need to give him the credit that he has the gut to come out and bring it to the forefront the racism in this country. As a matter of fact, right now, I think this is the result.
He's being himself. He was himself from day one, and he's still himself now. We just chose to overlook things. Red flags were going up all the time.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault was that?
People of the nation, of the United States, that say, well, you know what, we're going to give him a chance anyway, even though he might be a bigot or a bully or
Do you believe?
I think that he has compassion, period, for people. That's my...
But me, let me tell you, I believe that the man is, everybody think that he's stupid, but he's not. He's a very smart man.
I don't think
He's very smart man.
He's very
He discovered an energy and he tap on it. using it for his own good.
Correct. Correct.
And if we don't wake
agree
up,
with that.
if we don't wake up, he's going to be president. He's going to make 80 years.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
He's not scary.
It's scary to me, sir. Mr. Diddy, it's scary to me that you think this president's going to make another 8 years based on his track record right now and what he's doing for this nation, which seems to be absolutely nothing but continuously, like you say, pushing the button of chaos and confusion.
Well, if a large percentage of the citizenry does not come out to vote, what he's saying is a very
It will happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you have a lot of people who, I think, given everything that's been going on, that has changed more and more. You have a lot of people who would say, I don't get involved in politics. I don't have nothing to do with it. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to go, to my councilman meeting. I'm not going to get involved with, X, Y, and Z
Well, then
politicians.
they shouldn't have anything to say about anything when things go down.
Yes,
They should
but
be involved with having a word to say.
But I believe
about
those
this
people
nation.
are starting to be awakened now because they see what's going on and how it
I
affects
think
them.
you're right.
So I think next time around there will be more change and more people involved in their country. I think is a positive thing because you want people involved. You want people speaking their mind.
Right,
in
but
their
it's such a
hearts.
disservice to our country regardless for people not
Mhm.
voting
We have
and
Exactly,
taking
good
and
point.
getting their own accountability. So it is a disservice to this country regardless. I truly believe that.
We have a president that quoted the words today, not now,
Not
on
today.
gun violence, not today, on gun violence in this nation and gun control. That should be the main thing he's tapping into right now, talking about, giving some kind of hope to having a desire to want to make a change.
But we don't know
And
how
he
these
doesn't
victims and
want
their
to
families are
address
feeling.
it?
So, I mean,
Come
he
on.
might have another motive or something else that he has planned that's more of that in his mind is more of a priority than gun violence, and so I really think that he is just saying not today, maybe to hold it off. I don't know. I don't think it should be let
Those
go.
would be-
Absolutely not.
But those shouldn't be the words he should be choosing, Jody. Candy Luck.
I understand. I'm not agreeing that that's the correct words he should be saying, not today. I'm just saying that he obviously has another agenda,
Oh,
and this is not a priority.
he's always full of
maybe
agendas,
a
Jody. But when
priority,
is it
but
going to be the right agenda?
his
When is
priority
going to
is-
be the priority
right.
of agenda?
But you know what? We
What's
also
gonna-
have to look and think about the families and the victims right now. They may not
Is
be
that
thinking
what
about
he's
gun
saying?
control.
Is that what he's saying?
That's not what he's saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's what me and you feel
That's
and
what
saying.
me
But
and
what
that's
is
what
he
we're saying
saying?
as Christians, that we should be looking and praying and reaching out and
Exactly.
feeling
Absolutely
heartbroken
doing
for
that.
these victims and these
Our
and the
leaders should
families.
be doing the same
and
thing, not saying not
absolutely.
today.
But I'm done talking about the leaders because you know what? That's just like the leaders. We've had enough of that talk tonight. Let's just focus on the families and the victims
I agree.
and where our hearts are coming from. We want them to know
agree.
that we're here, that we love each and every one of them, and that we're here for them. We're going to pray for them, and we have been praying for them. And
That's
that
absolutely
we are one nation under God, and we need to bring it back home. This country needs to have a word. This should be a rude awakening. A rude awakening should be bringing our world back to this country as one nation under God, bringing our prayers back into school, saying the Pledge of Allegiance no matter what country you're from, and also just making it a priority that our victims and our families continue, that they can continue, and that they can have that love connection again. It wasn't, as we were saying earlier, does it take a massacre or a disaster to bring people together? And that's a terrible thing. It's an awful thing. However, I'm looking at a more positive direction here, that I'm hoping that, we are, that love connection, that they have reached somebody, they have connected with somebody, and our greatest hope is that they are going to connect with the Lord, and they're going to accept Christ and in His life, in their lives, moving forward. For those that have not, I think there were several Christians that were at that concert just from reading and the story after story after story, and our hearts truly go out to all the men and women that and children actually and young adults that attended this concert. And you know, another thing we want to say is really that, you know, we've been watching CNN and just watching the updates all evening here, just to keep you updated and posted in case you're not. You know, feel free to still call in 561-531-6092. We ask for your prayers. We ask for, you know, let's have, as Lava Girl said earlier, we are living in a dark world, in a dark place, and we need to start showing some light. And we're going to help the victims out here. If they're still looking for missing loved ones, to please call 800-536-9488. And let this tragedy not stop you from having faith today. You know, the Lord says that God's protection in the midst of danger. God doesn't promise a world free from danger, but He does promise His help whenever we face danger. So no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're feeling, He is there with you. He is there with you. He is with each and every one of us. He loves you no matter of the circumstance. He loves you where you are today. And that's all you have to do is accept Him.
There you
Amen.
have it.
All you have to do is
There you have it.
walk with Him.
Amen.
And you will have a life. Yeah, walk by faith and not by sight.
There you have it, listeners. We have come to a close of our program tonight.
I'd like to thank you.
Thank you so much for listening tonight to what our hearts are feeling as a nation. Thank you for tuning in to U.S. Discovery Talent Radio show tonight. We ask that you continue to pray for each and every one of the family members,
Please
the victims.
let them know if they are going to call, not to call after the show is closed, because during the day, a lot of
Okay,
people kept calling. They thought that they need to call now.
we need
They need to call during the show.
We're coming to the end of the show now, and we need some callers to call now if they're going to call.
Next time, the next show it will be.
Yeah, so we're not. The next show will
So
be
the
on
next
Thursday
show will
from
be on
8
Thursday night from 8 a.m. to 10.
No,
8 p.m. to 10.
8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sorry, guys. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the next show. We would like for you to call in
On next Thursday.
on next Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good night.
You can't tell me that whilst I'm talking, because you just make me throw me all off.
It's always fun.
Don't do that.
I know.
know.
Well, you totally took it from me earlier. I was on it. Exactly. I knew what I was going to say. I was like, okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Diddy, for that beautiful opportunity tonight.
Thank you, Lovers Connection.
Are you completely offline?
Say it, just let me.
Oh, okay.
What a wonderful show tonight. We had 3 or 4 callers call in and express themselves and how they really feel about our